science, technology, engineering, mathematics. These 4 diverse fields make up what is widely known as STEM. But the STEM workforce isn't equal. In fact, there's one demographic that is severely underrepresented: women. I'm Joy Hadelton, and this is Breaking Barriers: Young Women in STEM from the Blueprint News Network in Downers Grove. Why is there a discrepancy? Research from the AAUW reports that the male-dominated culture of STEM leads some parents and teachers to underestimate girls' math abilities and pass on math anxiety, the idea that girls have to work harder to be equal to boys. Sophomore Lydia Jane has had her own struggles in her STEM pursuits, sometimes being underestimated by others in her class.
There always is, whenever I'm working with the STEM fields, especially particularly with men, I've had multiple situations where there's just more surprise when I get answers correct and stuff. So it's just this little hints that you're not fully welcome there.
This isn't the only reason for the lack of women in STEM. The AAUW also describes how this low number of women in the STEM workforce impacts young women and girls. With this low number comes fewer role models for girls to look up to. Sophomore Emma Herman shares why she believes there's a gap in the number of women in STEM.
I think it's because for so long, they were just pushed down to be in the house and be, still to this day, be mothers and wives and just objects and something to look at or to support a man and not to be their own person like they are.
The National Science Foundation and the National Center for Science and Engineering Statistics reports that from 2011 to 2021, the proportion of women in the STEM workforce increased by 3%. This may not seem like a lot, but it shows how rapidly women are joining the field. The number of women in the STEM workforce climbed from 9.4 million to 12.3 million in those 10 years. Jane shared her thoughts on the low numbers and its growth over recent years.
I think predominantly, STEM and everything has obviously been a main field, a mainly men-dominated field for a long time. And so women feel kind of weird to interject into it because you feel well, that's something that only guys do, growing up. So I'm glad it's becoming more of accepted for women to be in it. And we're getting the numbers up, but it's still pretty low for as far as women in STEM.
This rapid increase may be due to some of the changes that the AAUW recommended be made, such as increasing awareness towards educational biases and implementing systems to support women looking to pursue a career in STEM. Jane had one main idea on how young women like her could be better supported in their STEM pursuits by having a safe space to grow.
I think honestly, clubs like Sweeney X, it's really good to have a safe space for specifically women in STEM, because if you're a woman in STEM, you can try to find your own areas and community to build. You can try to join the robotics team or whatever, but if it's mostly guys, you feel kind of you shouldn't be there.
Herman had a similar idea, but discussed one major difference: her belief in the importance of involving women and men in the journey towards equality.
I think having a club and a community that supports that, not just women. I think a big thing is that it's not only women that should be focused on this and concerned with this. It should be an issue for everybody and a concern that everyone thinks of in their mind, because it's not just about women, it's about everyone.
The data shows that while numbers are increasing, there is still work to do if the STEM workforce is to be made equal on the basis of gender. Until then, young women like Herman and Jane will continue to forge their path in male-dominated fields and stand for the equality of the sexes. That was Breaking Barriers: Young Women in STEM. I'm Joy Hadelton, reporting from the Blueprint News Network in Downers Grove.